All right, so now that we understand what makes an app or website work, the resources, the services, the data, let's talk about where all of this actually lives. Because here's the thing, you can't just run code in the air magically. You need a computer somewhere, a physical machine that's actually running your web server, your app server, and your database. So how do people actually do this? There's basically two main approach to hosting websites and application. The first approach is what most people think of when they imagine hosting. Basically, you own or rent a server. Maybe that'll be a computer in your house, or maybe it's a virtual machine you rent from a cloud provider. But the key is you have a server that's always running, always on, and always waiting for the request. Think of it like owning a restaurant. You have a physical space, the kitchen is always there, the chefs are always on standby, even if no customers walk in. So whether you have one customer or 100, your costs are basically the same every month. So you're paying for the kitchen, whether it's being used or not. You're also paying for the chefs, whether they're cooking or just standing around. So that's a traditional server setup. You pay fixed costs, whether it's the upfront cost of buying the hardware or a monthly bill for the rented server. It's predictable, which is nice, but it's also not very flexible. If you get zero traffic for a week, you're still paying the same. If you suddenly get a million visitors, your servers might crash because you didn't plan for that much load. The second approach is serverless, which has become really popular in the last few years. Now, I'll be honest, the name is kind of misleading. Serverless makes it sound like there are no servers involved and your code just basically runs on magic. But it's not true at all. There are definitely servers, you just don't have to manage them. Now, here's a way to think about it. You staying in the hotels doesn't mean you're homeless, right? You're sleeping somewhere every night, but you just don't own the building. Someone else handles the maintenance, the cleaning, the check-in desk, the housekeeping, etc., etc. You just show up and use the room when you need it. Now that's the case with serverless as well. Someone else owns the servers. You just upload your code and they run it for you when it's needed. And here's the biggest difference. You only pay when your code actually runs. Think of it like a restaurant that only pays employees when customers actually show up. The waiters get paid per customer they serve, the chefs get paid per dish they cook, and the inventory manager gets paid per ingredient they store. If nobody comes in, nobody gets paid. If there's a huge crowd coming in, everyone works more and they get paid more. That's the serverless model right there. You pay per request, per computation, per database query. Basically, it's scalable, it scales automatically. If you get zero traffic, you pay nothing. If you get a million visitors, the cloud provider just spins up more servers to handle the load, and you pay for exactly what you use.